Hi again. Can you guys hear me all right? Okay. Thank you again for coming here today. We're going to actually start off today with a welcoming from Maria and Tracia Coleman from the native village of Eklutna.
Thank you. Tracia is going to be here shortly, so I'm going to go ahead and say a few words, and then when Tracia gets here, please let her. She's my younger daughter, and she's in training to be one of the leaders of the future. So she needs to practice. Anyway, I'm the second chief of Native Village of Eklutna. Our traditional lands were Mananussu Valley and Anchorage area. We had fish camps all over here. And the reason we're requested to be here is to no longer be invisible, and people give us recognition for our traditional lands and being the first people here, which is a big turnaround since the 60s. And so to be able to watch that change is really a blessing to me, from one extreme to a really welcoming. Me welcoming you is making me feel welcome. So I brought a flag. We went, took the grandkids fishnet camping last night, so I didn't go get a gift, but I carry this around in my vehicle, and this is going to be my gift at this ceremony. And I need to tell you why it's important. They used to call us the uncivilized tribes, a term I never knew what it really meant, because when my perspective, people who murder people, people who treat other people like dogs, or dehumanize people, are uncivilized. And traditionally, we were, except for wars like everybody else, that wasn't our normalcy. But somehow we graduated in 1924, which most people didn't even know happened, and became citizens of the United States. And so today I feel like, yeah, I really am. I'm part of the community because I am here. But we've been to a number of these events, and I want to tell you why it's important to us. It's not just because we've experienced many losses through violence or murders. People we've known, family members, friends, family members of friends, and that violent rip from our community, it affects everyone. It just ripples out. But the thing, what's important about is ceremonies like this, is the other part. We come here to honor how valuable the people we've lost are. Those people were loved. Those people were valuable. Most of them were young and they could have done incredible things with their lives. And we show our respect for that, and we stand together in support because we all know what that loss is, but we also know those joyous memories, those special moments with the person that are treasures in our heart. And we want them to be remembered because they are valuable. So that's my little short speech and my gift for the people who invited me. And when my daughter is here. So actually she deserves her own credit. She is on the tribal council. She just got reelected herself in March, and she's on our tribal health board, and she goes. She hangs with the people that are participate in AFN to learn their systems. Every opportunity she gets to learn how to take care of things for the tribe, which is different than like for city or schools or whatever. It's a different environment. She gets in there and helps with that, and so she deserves her own respect.
Thank you.
Nothing like a mom to try to hype you up. So I gotta tell you, I was born and raised here. This is our traditional lands, and I was fishing. But I had to hurry up and get home and change so I could look appropriate for this. I left fishing for this. This is how important this is. I always say that we're looking for a strong community because the only way to get through violence is to lean on your brothers and sisters and your family and friends and to raise up as a community. And this is why this Victims for Justice is so important to me. And I want to thank you guys for coming out and supporting them because it means a lot well, personally, it means a lot to me. It means a lot to everybody who lives in this area. And we just want to thank you.
Thank you.
It's a symbol of healing, and it grew from where it was really little when it started when I grew it, but it's a large, beautiful, healthy plant now.
She gave a gift of a symbol of healing, which is just perfect for this occasion. I did want to mention one thing. Alaska Native Justice Center just published statistics on murdered people from 1976 to 2016. There were over 1,800. There, of course, as there's more, like the Native population is maybe 16%, and 30% of the victims were Native people. Black population 4%, 10% of the victims are murdered people, and that's not to say that that's more important. It just shows that there tends to be more violence against minority people. The other people, other cultures, white. There's so many white cultures, German, Russian, all kinds of things. They're also important, but our job is to try to make the world better for our people who have suffered for many years, and I hope for your allegiance in that effort.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that. And thank you again all for coming here today. I'm Tori Shanklin, and I've had the pleasure of being the executive director for 3 years now. Just going to start off with a little bit of housekeeping if anybody hasn't already found it. Right in the back there, we have flowers. Please feel free to take one and leave one by a loved one's name or at the tree and just take them with you. We also have some personal protective equipment, some masks and hand sanitizer. If you'd like, courtesy of Credit Union One, again, please feel free to go ahead and help yourselves for those. And then the new name booklets that help guide where the location of the names have been printed, and those are also on the back. So please, again, feel free to help yourselves to anything on that back table. As you're all aware, a lot of energy goes into putting this event on every year. We start with checking the names and triple checking the names. And then there's the engraving and putting the names up on the wall every year. We wouldn't be able to do all of this without immense support from the community. People and businesses like Corvus Designs, who not only designed this entire space, but year after year come back to help us engrave and put the new names on the wall. We're so incredibly appreciative. We also had help this year from Legacy Funeral Homes, Alaska USA, and a handful of individual donors. So I'm so grateful. We are so grateful for those of you who continue to make sure we can come together and gather for this year after year. Thank you. This gathering is important for many reasons. And for those of us who are grieving, there is no right way to do things. There's no straight path forward. It's an up and down roller coaster that gets drawn out and you can't get off. Our lead advocate, Michelle, she likes to say that as advocates, it's our privilege and our responsibility to hold space for people, to hold space as they navigate in emotions and systems that come with such a great loss. We try to do this every day at Victims for Justice, and we're honored that you guys trust us to hold that space. It became clear to me the other day as I was thinking about this, that this gathering, this park, the pillars, the memorial as a whole, is really just a physical manifestation of that space where we can come together. So I'm so glad today that we can come together and hold this space together. Thank you all for joining us and trusting us to be here with you. We genuinely appreciate it. I'd like to continue on with today by inviting Captain Sean Case from the Anchorage Police Department. He's both a board member and obviously with the police department to say a few words. Thank you.
You know, this memorial not only serves as a remembrance of victims of homicide, but it also serves as hope for the future. Hope's a funny thing, though. Hope is about being in a position where we're at and looking forward to a brighter or better future. But hope also means that there's a struggle, there's pain. That's the moment that we're in. I mean, the audacity to hope, to have that bright future, but require pain and suffering to think about a better future. You know, I got in law enforcement many years ago. It was interesting because it was about driving cars fast and going call to call and having a lot of fun. And as you go through your career, your mind and your heart gets opened up to the emotion that our community has every day and at what homicide and death impacts. When I became a sergeant, one of the duties that we have to do is do death notifications. Every death notification that I've ever given, I can remember the very details of all of them, the interactions that I had with the family. One in particular, I met with a father and a mother, a gentleman in his mid-20s. And as I started to provide the information on what happened to the family, the mother started crying, became emotional. She looked around. She found a place to sit down so she could collect herself. She spoke in phrases and words and wasn't able to complete thoughts. The dad, on the other hand, spoke very coherently. He was very clear. He talked about his son. He talked about struggles that his son has had recently. And then, just like that, all the emotion too hit him. He didn't have the wherewithal to look around and find some place to sit. Luckily, I was standing there and helped him so he didn't fall to the ground. And he kind of sat there and just kind of looked and stared forward, was at a loss for words. About 2 weeks later, the mother called me and asked if I would take her to where her son lost his life. So I met her, and we spent a little while talking about her son. She was now speaking very coherently in complete sentence. She was remembering the good times. She'd started the steps towards the healing process. So whether you're in law enforcement, whether you're an advocate, whether you're a friend, a family, or a loved one, we all share something common. We all have a common value, and that's that we value human life. When I look at us all gathered here today, we can think about how we're different, or we can think about what we have in common. I don't want us to be distracted by fear or anger or even shame. I want us to be guided by hope. Today we want to further the healing process by letting those emotions that hold us back and be guided by hope so we can work towards an emotionally positive and bright future. We do that by remembering all the good things, the joy, the happiness, the accomplishments, and most importantly, the love. This group has the courage to move forward while remembering our loved ones. We have the compassion to care and support one another so we can move forward for a more hopeful future. I thank you for allowing me to spend my afternoon with you. I'm greatly honored, and I wish you the best future.
Thank you.
We now have a pastor here to come on up. Thank you. Come say a few words. If you could please introduce yourself, I appreciate it. And thank you so much for coming.
Good afternoon. My name is Andre Parker. I am the senior pastor at Shiloh Missionary Baptist Church. Thank you, Captain Case, for those words, because those words are the symbols of the prayer that I just want to lift today for all of these families. I'm doing some work at my house, and one of the things I have to do is plant new grass. And for weeks now, I looked at that dirt, and I saw no grass. But I had hope, because somebody told me that the grass would grow. And so every day I would water it, I would watch it, and sooner or later, now, I go out and I look and I see sprouts of green grass growing, and that's giving me hope. I say to each one of these families today that are victims of violence, homicide, crime, whatever it may be, in time, hope brings about a stability and a strength that nothing can take away from you. Part of that hope is remembering your loved ones, holding them close to your heart, and then having hope in the justice system that is around us. And so I would ask you to join me in this brief prayer on today. Our Father, our hearts ache today as we gather again in remembrance of the many lives taken through homicide in our city and state and through so many other acts of violence. We pray that your healing presence be with all those who have been directly or indirectly affected. Each name on these pillars leaves an emptiness in the hearts of their loved ones. You understand what no one else is able to fully understand. You know and understand the pain that lingers in each heart. We lean on you as we trust and hope in our law enforcement, attorneys, courts, this justice system. Thank you for all that they do in seeking to care for the loved ones left behind. Give us your grace to cover and heal every broken place. Ease the heartache of your people by filling it with your everlasting love and abiding strength. In Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Thank you. And now we're going to move on to the reading of the names. For those of you who haven't joined us before, we read the names of the last 3 years and those names being added today. We also then read the names of those. We're doing things a little bit different now, but we used to have you all be able to say the names of your own loved ones. Given everything that's going on, we will be reading those names as well. We asked to have them submitted. So thank you so much to those of you who have agreed to read names for us today. To start off with reading the names, we have Ingrid Cumberledge, U.S. Attorney's Office, from Murdered and Missing Indigenous Persons Coordinator.
Kagasakun Gunishchish, I am truly humbled to be here with you. And in my family, a lot of this process is about holding each other, and I feel that coming together like this is an opportunity for us to hold each other as we move forward with this. Alan Bolsh, Corbin Grassman, Lenny Ka Zimmer, Jerry Sales, Cecilia Tuaga, China Tuaga, Cynthia Hoffman, Preston Atwood, Peter Horace Wright, Salisa Locks, Bruce Morgan II, Theodore Burdan, Dylan Gregg, Robert Stewart, Mingnuna Miller, Rodney Price, Robin Gray, Weston Gladney, Jenna Delakitty, LaRon Roberts, Michael Greco, Ida Gurley Agochuk, Christopher Liebert, St. Wally Howard, Eva Brower, Veronica Abuchuk, Martha Toms, Marcus Crosby, George Jones, Gunnar Swan, David Cargill, Ashley Sangmignon Johnson Barr, Harriet Lane, Thomas Williams Jr., Dolly Hampton, Jeremy Speaker, Officer Louis Gordon Mizell,
Thank you, Ingrid. Next, we have Assistant District Attorney Patrick McKay and Supervisor for Major Crimes Unit. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. I'd like to begin by just saying, on behalf of the Alaska Department of Law, I extend my deepest condolences to everyone here who has lost somebody. My job as a prosecutor is to help seek justice, and that justice isn't for the state, that justice is for all of you. And we recognize that oftentimes that will not happen, that you're going to achieve the appropriate justice that you should. But I can assure you that we're all working our hardest and we're doing our best to get you the best sense of justice that we can for your family. I heard Ingrid reading a number of names there, and it was kind of hit me when I realized how many of them are names that I know and how many cases I've handled or am handling. And I'm glad to see that the Anchorage Police Department and all of the other law enforcement officers around the state are truly working hard, and that we have finally kind of started to see a decrease in some of these homicides over the last couple of years. And I think that we really need to, everybody should extend their thanks to those law enforcement officers, because they're the real reasons why that's happening. Loretta Waloya, Virginia Turek, Lisa Smotherman, Thomas Kusmiter, Dana Sina, Nick Stockelrope, Irma Williams, Courtney Jones, David French, Judy Lee Guthrie, William Schmaus, Chantha Vanarath, Kristen Huntington, Sean Konatek Whitley, Michael Chris, Priscilla Chris, Kayla Benjamin, Kyrie Pruitt, Marie Riley, John Clarion Dowai, Matua Mano Mano, Joby Christensen, Jared Ward, Randy Rapati, Cindy Vang, Chase Bowerson, Malik Kelly, Clayton Martinelli, Darla Velador, Matthew Lundy, June Tunu, Brandy Sullivan, Christopher Shannon Lee, Timothy Kalmakoff, Andrew Alston, Glenn Stephen Johnson, Ronald Mullins, Frankie Taylor.
Thank you. And finally, we have Representative Garen Tarr, who will be reading the last of the names.
Hello to everyone, and thank you so much for the honor of joining you today. Like others who have spoke before me, in the work that I do, I have a passion for supporting families and ending violence in our state. And please know that my door is always open if you ever want to talk about your ideas or ways that we could work together to help your family. Tori had said about holding space here, and I hope in the pause between the names we can take that moment just to send love and support to all of the people who are here and who have experienced loss. Amy Moore, Tuan Wen, Sherry Ingram, Hattie LaBouffe, Kristen Reed, Scott Johnson, Kevin Napier, Taman Mason DeShields, Robin Rochelle Taylor, Javon Diggs Sr., Jerica Hundley, Michelle Hundley, Rebecca Adams, Simone Kim, Norman Georgie Dennis Jr., Tony Susuk, Dr. Eric Garcia, Veronique Long, Caitlin Sowers, Venus Woods, Brian Ballett, Brandon Christopher Erlmeyer, Adrian Beaver, Stephen Milano Cook, Corey Hornstein Williams, Ronaldo Rocky Kutsevin, Bryant Bree DeHusson, Desiree Gonzalez, Zayden Young, Zariel Young, Dustin Lee Gard, Lite Fogg, Rodolfo Fofo Contreras, Brooke McFeeters, David Fleming, Kiva Dale Friedman, Linda Ann Martz Bauer, Martha Marty Hansen, Daniel McCready, Terry Spencer, Paula Zorowski.
Thank you. I'll just take a moment of silence. Those were a lot of names to read, and it breaks my heart that we had to read that many. I think it only goes to show, too, though, how many people are here, what the impacts of this loss have, not only on an individual or a family, but our community as a whole. So thank you all for coming again today to acknowledge those impacts, to be here for one another, and to move forward and help to bring it up one more time, to hold space with those of us who are here. So thank you for joining Victims for Justice today. Please feel free again to go grab more flowers if you'd like, and visit the names of our loved ones here. Thank you.
you.